Alright, so today we're going to restore Bad Bird Rag, the bird race music from DK2, which plays in like one of the last levels when you're racing. So check it out. This is first thing we're going to do. Let's get that marimba melody first that plays over the thing. So let's two channels. There we go. What's up, y'all? I see some people flooding in already. Let me turn down my mic here. Alright. Alright, that's enough of that. So we've got two layers. It's two layers of a marimba, and there's pretty much no repeating. It's all going up half a step. So that's like kind of a classic like tension rising technique. Up a step, you know, and then there's the climax up here. But first, I think there's some space here I need to remove. Oh, there's just a like downbeat. The downbeat is right here. So yeah, so that's the downbeat right there. And then now when I put this, first off, it repeats right here. So that's where we're going to cut it off. Right here. So this is our one loop. Now, what I'm just gonna do is copy. Well, let's add a time marker so that we know that the downbeat is not at the beginning, but right here a bit. It's a little bit because there's a tom intro. There's like drum, do 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 do. There's a little bit of the toms come in first. Here we go. So that's our downbeat. That's our first mark. So what we're gonna do now is grab the melody line for the marimba, put it in its own pattern. Do 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 do. Now let's make sure that it's kind of just the right. You know, I can't actually tell very much. We'll figure it out later. But now let's go grab the other layer and put it on top of that. And now we want this to sound like an actual marimba, not a synth. So let's take the decay down. Oh, so there's not as much pluck as a real marimba would have. There's like guess you want it to be more of a soft mallet kind of sound. Like so, if you were hitting a marimba with a hard mallet, it would make more of a like sharper sound. But if you were hitting it with a soft mallet, it would make more of a sound like this, softer, meaning that the end of the mallet is carpeted, sort of like there's some fur on it, so that it softens the blow. And now I want to kind of, well, we'll do the velocities later. Let me see. Hello, everybody. I'm here. Kept us waiting, huh? It's pretty nice. Are you okay with Tara Blue uploading your music? Not really, but I think she stopped. But that was my fault because I kind of put it up on the Dropbox without uploading it to YouTube. And then someone else stepped in like, okay, I'll upload it to YouTube then. So that was kind of my mistake. I think this is the last song we need to restore. This is like the last song before the entire soundtrack is complete, except for the jingles. This is the last actual song on the soundtrack. All right, so now I think this sounds good. What if it has any? No, not really. No reverb to be heard. I do kind of want to put a saturation knob on it, though. It sounds a little weak. And an EQ. Let's yeah, there we go. Take a little bit of those low mids out. Kind of muddying it up. This is where we really want to hear it. This is kind of low for a melody, so but what we really want to hear is up here, right here. These two right here. That's where the real meat of the sound is going to come from. Before I forget, let's see whether it's panned or not. Is the marimba panned? It's panned a little bit to the right. Yeah. Ooh. Real men always skip it. Real men skip this race. Actually, real men just suck up and do the race, I think. But people thought. All right, and let's see what's the next thing. Let's go ahead and drop it on the thing. I think this is where it kind of lines up. So it should be a quarter note after the downbeat, right? No, it should be an eighth note after the downbeat. So let's go and drag this a little bit back. Now it's center. But we want to start it right here. Now I think there's something missing to it. I think I want it to be brighter. It just doesn't sound like it's popping so much. Whoops. Yeah, maybe if I brighten it up at the end. Now I think it feels like it's more interesting. Yeah, there we go. Maybe not that much. Bring up those high frequencies, like that pluck. There's no real frequencies up there. There's just like the hits more. You can hear that sort of like ring a little more. Not the ring, but like the hit. So this is playing in thirds pretty much. It's just like a thirds melody. And then up here it's just like this kind of looks like Mining Melancholy. So this is actually like kind of a reference to Mining Melancholy. You remember the kind of pulled this melody from Mining Melancholy. Alright, that sounds fire. Now let's see, what do we want to do next? What part of the song would be like the most prominent other than that? How about this bass? Now there's another part to this bass. Interesting. Sort of like a sub bass more than anything else. Right here, so let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm just gonna place. See, it goes from being this velocity to that velocity. It kind of goes, okay, it kind of just jumps around. So there's kind of a velocity pattern here. Here, let me shut this down. Yeah, there's kind of a velocity pattern here, so let me go and copy that. Like, copy all this down painstakingly, note by note. Let's make a new pattern and call it bass. And this should be down on the downbeat. Actually, let me just, for time's sake, let me just move this here and then move it all back after once it's complete. Jesus, this is a lot. I think I missed one. Oh wait, it's pretty much the same velocity, so we don't really, but it changed at the end, so I think it just kind of rises up a bit. Huh. This one stays the same. This one also stays the same. Oh, I see. So the it's just the last one and the first one that kind of. All right, so I'll just like copy this last one and the second last one and then fill in the blanks. Oh, it changes octave. Wait, what? Hold on. I think it just went to the wrong. All right, let me just kind of move all this back because I know it's supposed to be. So now this right here needs to be in like the second to last one, and then so does everything else right in this lower octave. And then the last one is also down there, I think. Wait a minute. So the last one's the only one that's down there. And then the second one is up an octave. Yeah. But then wait, where's the third one? Or the other one? The one before that. Okay, so there's one, it goes up an octave, down, and then up and down 2 octaves. So I'll just copy these two since they're the only ones with missing velocity, where the velocity changes. This should go here. And all of these should go here. Now, what we have after that is we have a repeat of this one, and then we have a repeat in 4, which means that all the rest of these we can just kind of fill in with well, these should all be, no wait, these should all be at this level velocity. And then so should these. And then the rest is just kind of filling in the blanks right here. And then let me just copy these 3 throughout the whole thing and shift them up a note. Cool. So now we've got, wait, we're missing one at the end. And I think it ends like that. Did I just did those notes just drop out or something and I didn't notice? I think they do actually just drop out. There's no notes after. So this one's not, the last one's not there. The second to last one's not there. But the third one is. And there's no note. There's just no note after that. And I think, let me see, is that just like some kind of byproduct of it getting cut off? Yes, it is. So it's actually there, it just somehow got cut off. Oh, because there's the downbeat, that's right. Because when I cut it off, I think I cut it off a little bit too short. I think I cut off that, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But we have our bass line, so now we just need to configure the synth to where it does that morphing thing. I think it should be an octave down, actually. But this is already C, this is already really low, so I don't think that it is. Yeah, I think that's the right octave. So we need to make an envelope that matches that, like an envelope for the filter. So let's say that it loops. We'd make a filter that loops. Sustain loop end. Loop start. So why is it restarting? It doesn't need a restart. Well, I can't do it with an LFO. Can I? Oh, yeah, here I can. But I can't do a phase. Like, I can't phase it at all. Because I want it to start from 0 and then go up. Alright, I'm just going to have to do this with notes then. So it's going to be... Each time this thing is going to go all the way up. Let's try that. Yeah, that's good. Now this loop is what we want to work with. I have to go and... Let's see. So we just go up, 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 up for 6 times, 6 repetitions, and then we go down for 2, like down back to the bottom. Alright, so that looks good. Now I want it to go higher, like higher to the thing. Why does it sound like it's why does it sound like when it gets up here, when it gets to the higher ones, it's like... Oh, I think I know what we need. It wasn't going up all the way because we center. It's a bipolar thing, so the center would be here. So we have to go... Start at the bottom, and then go all the way up here. There we go. Maybe not that far, though. And I like that warm, like the warming on that. And if you listen closely in the original, there's a stereo separation effect on the last two, I think. See, it's like there's not even panning on it. It's like a it's like some kind of stereo. I think the Super Nintendo had this stereo separation effect that isn't really reflected by SPC tool. So what you have to do, we'll have to stereo separate it by ear on the last two notes. So let's call this synth bass. No. And also call this synth bass. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go say that the last two, let's first insert Control I, insert 0 stereo separation. Let's go to the last two notes, and let's say that they're kind of separated 50%. See what that does for us. It doesn't do much. Let's say 100%, and let's say it's like this part. It still doesn't do anything. So let's go, let's 86 this and say that we have a stereo enhancer. And let's see if there's any difference with the stereo enhancer. I guess stereo enhancement just isn't showing up the way I want it to. Maybe if we do phase offset. And phase offset's going to be just pretty big thing, so let's not do it so much. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting it. We don't want it so heavy though. Yeah, see, that's what we want. And we want it for every bar. So this looks sort of messy. Let me go and kind of fix it up a bit. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Come on, man. You know this is not what I want. Okay, so... I guess at the very end, I'll just have to, have it return to normal. Manually. See that right here, it kind of just dips back to normal, and then we can loop it. We have a clean loop so the computer can understand that this is what we want. All right. There we go. But there's some popping. There's some popping between the... Like, hear that pop? I think that's because we are snapping it back too early. Which means that I might have to just do this by hand. So do like this. And actually, if I shift this way, then I can just say, okay, here's your loop. First, I have to delete all this and say that here's your loop that the computer so desperately needs. All right, perfect. Let's see what that sounds like. That makes it, yeah, that fixes it. I don't think we want that much resonance. That's pretty good. Yeah, we want some bleed out from it. There we go. That's probably our sweet spot right there. Now let's EQ it a bit. But we don't want the mids like that. Let's take some off the top because it's ringing out too much and that, like, the very highs. There we go. All right, that's pretty right there. Now let's see. There's another layer to the bass. I think this is more like a sub. I think this is more like a sub. So like if you play it by itself, the bass doesn't really keep a consistent. I think think it's to keep the bass more consistent with the pluck. So there's like dun 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 dun. Instead of bass moving all over the place, there's like another layer so that it kind of stays consistent. So, and we have there's at least there's one track for this. So we've got, and it looks like it, let me see. And it does, I don't know why this is here. It clearly doesn't do this. So let's just copy it, and it's an A? No, it can't be an A. It's the same, it's a lot of these things translate wrong, so it's gonna be a C. So it's really more like a sub bass, so it should be down here. I think we want it to be kind of down here. And I think this is kind of better for the default form of the bass, so let's go and save it as like for the sawtooth. So let's put this in a new track, because it is a different instrument. Wait a minute, what's this automation here? Ooh, okay. Much better. There we go. And is this the let's see, 33? I think this is supposed to be a sub bass, so let's go and take it down to the lowest setting. actually. I like that. But I think this thing needs to be... See, if you look at it on the thing, they're both the same volume. But this is less, so let's go and raise it up. But of course we want the bass to stay the same volume overall. See, the bass doesn't rise in volume here like it does whenever it hits that high note. And I think it's that low note doing that. That's the low note peaking. Let me see. Yeah, so it's better if we just keep all the velocities the same. Alright, that sounds good to me. Let's go and bust it into accompaniment. And let's drop it into the mix. No, see, because there's no panning stored. It's not panned at all. It's stereo separation, and it makes it sound like it's panned because the stereos, like the different channels, are hitting at different times. But the sub isn't changing. It doesn't sound like the sub is doing anything like that. It's the bass that's doing all that. And maybe we can take this yeah, that sounds really good. I like that. Now let's move on to what would be the next best thing to do. All right, let's go for the drums. So we got the kick that's just straight up a 4/4 pattern for the kick. Now let's call this new pattern kick or drums. Or just call it beat. Let's give it a step sequencer. 4/4/4/4. And then the hi-hats are going to be a loop of how much? Because I remember they change a bit. I think they change. So when we, let's see. I guess it's just my imagination. But so basically it's a 1-bar loop for the whole beat. So we get our hi-hat, let's see, and it's closed. Now we don't quite want all those highs on the hi-hat because it sounds like it's kind of like too much, even for like a high quality sample. But we do want a little bit of reverb on it. So that's good. But I want that hi-hat to have more of a snap. And it needs to be louder too. Maybe an exciter. All right, good. Now let's plug it in. Alright, that's good. Now let's take the, let's have the bass be down here because we want the bass to be at the bottom of the mix. So now let's see what else we got going on. So let's go for those toms. So these two channels are pretty much combined. So we've got we need our boosh tom right here. And so the intro, so all these toms are going to be, this time it's essentially the intro, then a loop, then a, well, the loop is the same. It just kind of gets cut off. So it's essentially the intro and then a loop. So what we need to do is take this, make a new pattern, call it toms, and then paste it here, go get the other layer, and say, do the same thing. And then we need to say that it's legato, which means that none of the notes run into each other. But we do want to give it a lot of release. We want it to let it, I think the sample plays itself out already. So which means we don't want it to have like too much release. There we go. Alright, now we go grab our, let's call this the, let's put the strings in there too. Toms and string. Alright. So we have, that's like pretty much the total tom pattern. So there's like this string sweep, that doom. That's what we want. That's the wave station strings. And it would be PWM strings. And so I think there's an echo right here. Yeah, it's a delay track, so we don't want to pay any attention to that. But we do want to grab this first thing right here. Now, let's see, I think it should be 2 octaves sweep downward. Now, the only problem with this is that the strings are going to go up, so we need to put them in a new pattern. So let's go, let's call this strings, let's call this string sweep. Sounds pretty right. Alright. So we have that, and we just need it to get higher every time. So do 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 do. And I think it starts over again right here. So we have our toms that play here. Okay, so it's another one right there. And I think that it's supposed to be, it's not in key, so the C, this is supposed to be here. At least I think. So it is supposed to be an A. And maybe it's supposed to be... Yeah, there we go. But that bass is clashing. I don't know why it doesn't. Is this the right key? Maybe it is supposed to be an A. And that's why the other one was A before. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Alright, so that solves that. So let me see. So we got, yeah, this is the right interval. So it's placed in two, there needs to be 2 bars of space. And it goes all the way down to G, apparently, at the end. Oh wow, yeah, that's actually better, way better sweep. Okay, what are y'all singing? Actually, I can barely hear the kick. Does it start an octave lower? Yeah, I think you might have to shift that sweep an octave lower. You mean the string sweep? No, that's too low. It's just because there's more higher frequencies. that string sweep? What is it? It sounds like it's stopping for the Nah. Actually, I think this is more of a lead instrument. No, it's really accompaniment. Now the delay time would be what? It's a little less than a step and a half. So we've got some kind of pop in there. So let's Alright, so that sounds pretty good. Let me go and try to tweak the individual things. Let's see. I want to hear this part more, the high mids. I want to hear the presence. That's what I want to hear. sounds too muffled though. Where are those high frequencies? Oh, I know where they went. It was that it was the warming thing. It's not warming up the highs so much. Now this is just an enhanced, like sort of a personal preference, but I want to have a little bit of reverb on the bass, like the upper frequencies of the bass. Because you're not supposed to put reverb on the lower end. I want to get more clarity in this bass, so I want to be clear that I want to get some of these higher, maybe not so much higher frequencies in there because they're conflicting with the they're conflicting with the real bass. And I want some kind of clarity in the bass too, so but these frequencies can stay. It's maybe that low frequency is getting to be too much. Maybe if I bring it down a bit. No, it's actually clearer the way it is. I think the volume just needed to be brought down because they were running into each other. And I think I can get rid of this reverb. It's changing the sound too much. Or maybe no, it doesn't say it changes the sound too much. Alright, so that's good like that. Let's check out this string sweep. Now this string sweep needs some work. And let's take out a lot of the bass in there because we know that it's going to muddy everything up. And I want to kind of play the bass with it to kind of compare. Now, that sounds good. Now, these toms are, let me see. These toms. The bass might be in the toms, might be running might be conflicting with the bass a bit. Wait, it has the toms at the end aren't right. It's supposed to have that sweep at the that goes up. Alright, that's good. Alright, so now this hi-hat might need a little more work. It needs to be boosted right around here. This is where we're going to hear it the most. We just don't need so much here. But before the loop, does it actually do that lower one? Or, let me see. Yeah, it does do the lower one. So, do 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 do. Oh, I forgot that piano. Alright, so let's just copy this whole thing right here. Because the piano, let's see, there's some echo notes I have to be aware of. Fine, first empty piano. And now we take our piano. No, wait. Let's do the. It's from the U220. So let's do the U220 VST. Pretty much just this pattern, this 1 bar pattern. It's like a 1 bar pattern, and it goes like this. And then we go up 1, up 1. Wait. Oh my god. All right, so and then it goes down to G. Is that right? I think that's right. No, it goes down to A and E. Oh wait, it goes down here. It goes a little bit... No, wait. It goes down to the same one as before. But the bass, I think... No. I think the bass is wrong. The bass is supposed to stay... The bass goes down to G, but the thing stays the same. Let me see what the bass is doing, because I can't trust all these notes. Okay, so it does go down to G, but the piano, I think, stays the same. So the bass goes back to normal after the loop, but the piano stays the same. And it's still less than it started out with. Which means that it's down here. Should be down like this. Oh wait, maybe it's it's actually G sharp. That's right. piano is supposed to be at G sharp. That's too confusing. I'm just going to say that I think it's like an emulation glitch that the piano does that, but I'm just going to say that it does the same thing. So now we have to configure these note delays. So now all we really do, it's just a one-step delay. So we just, let's see, give it a track, first of all. Say that we want a delay of one step, 1.0. Give it that, give it a ping pong. And what's the panning for this? I forgot to take the panning for a lot of things. Now see, it looks like these are all center, but the piano is what's the first note at? First note is to the left a bit. Oh, wait a second, that doesn't quite sound right. Actually, it goes. So the delay is actually. See, the delay should be like ding ding ding, but it's like it's going to the next note. It's like a retro. It's like predictive delay. It's like echoing the first note before it happens. So what that means is that this delay is actually way over here. Or no, it's over here. It's a 3-step delay. Yeah, 3-step delay. So that would be there we go. That's what sounds right. I'm gonna get that shimmer up. And we don't want no middle end on this because it's just literally just a shimmer. that one sounds obviously out of tune, but it's out of tune in the original. And I think it's also quieter. This instrument's way quieter. One thing, the instrument also, it rings out too much, so we can't control that with the VST, so we need to just use the sound font player. Which, why is it 60? I'm not in 64-bit. This is supposed to be 32-bit. What? All right, hold on 1 second. Why is 64-bit opening? That's not where 64-bit is. Not on my desktop. But somehow the icons must have gotten switched around. The piano at the end sounds off because it's out of key, but it's out of key in the original too. Now it is off. Very strong delay here. Now, if you go to the piano is still out of key there. And then it keeps doing that until literally plays out of key every time. So if you wanted to keep it accurate to the original, you would just take this and actually but I'm not sure if that's just an emulation glitch. It might just be an emulation glitch. Let me check the original audio that is on YouTube and see if it does that. The piano is off key in the original version, for sure. Which means that we have to keep it like that. But the bass seems kind of underwhelming. Sub bass is supposed to be as loud as. Let me check it. I think it's because the kick is quicker. So now, here, let me bring into, I think it's time to bring in the mastering effects. So that we can really get it, because now we're getting to that level of detail. Alright, the bass sounds good, but I want the mids to kind of come up a bit, because we want them to be like pushing up to the limiter thing. So let's raise the volume of the... and the string sweep. Let's see. The way the piano, the note delay is like, yeah, it's the decay of the notes. So like this is delay. So maybe if we turn the delay down. Alright. Now, let me listen to it in my speakers, because like I'm gonna kind of get a different perspective on it. My ears are tired, so we will come back to this in about an hour, and then but it's pretty much close. It's pretty much done. I just need to do some final mixes, final changes, and actually, I'll export an MP3 file, so those of you that have it can like listen to it. And now when it's done, it'll be here. It'll be there, that URL. Let's see. Has anybody used Contact yet? I use Contact extensively. Contact is essential in today's world. If you're gonna make music, you gotta be using Contact of some kind, unless you're doing strictly acoustic music. If you're making especially if you're making video game music, because there's a lot of great instruments that are not standard for Contact. There's a lot of great just VST instruments that you can get that are outlandish and unusual. FL Studio, it's not essential to learn theory, or it's just necessary to understand some of theory, MIDI, before you. Oh yeah, you must learn theory before you use FL Studio. Just watch YouTube tutorials on FL's workflow. They'll teach you all about that, and there's plenty of them. I can only hear it every other time. I notice I always hear the bass in the original, but here I only can hear it every other time. I don't know about that. It's accurate. Alright, y'all, we're going to take a break for an hour, and then we'll come back to this and sort of fix it up with whatever it may need to be done. But for now, signing off.